45 seconds. 45 seconds is all it takes. Could you imagine? The time it takes you to take a drink of something as simple as that, just in 45 seconds, could change someone's life forever. And the time it takes you to take that drink instead of just sobering up your thoughts, I was on the ground in 45 seconds. The praise I gave my horse that day as he walked into the arena with no issues was great. All smiles and laughs reached my ears. At the point at which I started my run, we were filled with happiness and hope, but little did we know that 45 seconds later, all of that would change. I sent him off at full speed and felt the flag hit my hand, and I could breathe. My hands rubbed against my horse's warm neck as I was getting ready to put the flag into the bucket. I tried to roll him up, but nothing worked, so we missed. 45 seconds. We came off the pattern and I tried to roll him up, and he clipped his feet. We began to stumble and trip as he tried as hard as he possibly could to catch himself for my sake and his, because I knew that he was trying not to fall on me. But he didn't manage. His front legs came out from under me, causing me to fall forward. The severe pain that was caused to my ribs by hitting them upon the saddle horn was excruciating. I went down underneath him. I tried as hard as I possibly could to grab his neck while he was on top of me, and I failed. He stood up. All was blurry as he stood at my side, and all was in slow motion. I tried with everything that I had to keep my eyes open and to stay awake. I heard someone call his name as he began to walk away, and I tried to reach for him. That's when I closed my eyes. For 45 seconds, I was out cold, and the first thing that I was asked to me was if I was okay. But the first thing I cared about before myself was, is my horse okay? Which is exactly what I asked before I answered anything about myself. The answer I got was yes, and I began to relax. Nothing felt horrid enough for me to be admitted to a hospital other than my ribs, which had already been bruised before that day. 45 seconds. The woman examining me had tons of questions, making sure I could move everything, and I wasn't sure what she was doing because I was laying down and was told not to move, but she asked me if I could feel something, and I said no. She asked me if I could feel a few other things that she was doing, and I said no. She asked me to wiggle my toes. I did so, and everyone around me was looking back and forth to each other, and I said, "What, are they moving?" The expression on everyone's face had changed, and I began to panic. What? I had explained as tears had rolled down my face, and I walked forward, and I tried to wiggle my toes, and nothing. No movement. I was pushed back and told to lie down, and that an ambulance was on the way. They tried to make me feel comfortable and happy, but it was impossible. What if I could never ride again? The thought played over and over in my mind as to how this could have happened to me. It had seemed so bizarre and unreal. The ambulance had finally come after what had felt like forever. I was lifted onto a stretcher and was wheeled out to an ambulance. The arena, covered in stands that what I thought had been empty, began to be loud and with cheering. My head had pounded and more tears rolled down my face. I tried to put on a smile. My teammates met me at the gate before I was put into an ambulance, and I told them that I loved them and to take care of Gymmy while I was gone. The ride to the hospital was long and intense, and the medic tried to continue to keep me comfortable and ask me questions. He tried to help me get my feeling back into my legs, but nothing had worked. We'd stopped trying and decided we'd wait until we get to the hospital. We had almost got there when I began to feel my toes moving against the soles of my boots, and I began to cry out, "I can move them!" After x-rays of being poked and prodded with all my left ribs bruised, I was able to wheel out of the hospital and was on my way to get crutches. My parents had begged me to go back to the hotel, but I didn't follow through. I wanted to see my horse. I needed to see my horse. He needed to know I was okay. I crouched my way into the lonely barn filled with horses to be shown the next day, and I made my way to his stall. I had made it out of breath. Resting my hand on his stall to keep me steady, I looked inside and called his name. He stood facing the corner of his stall that was cold that October night, just after our accident a few hours before. He perked his ears up and walked towards me. I opened the door and his warm nose touched my hand. I flung my arms around him and cried into his neck. 45 seconds. 2 weeks after sore armpits and bruised ribs, I was able to walk completely normal again and was also back in the saddle. Even though my best friend and I were okay, we were scarred for life. 45 seconds of insane courage and embarrassing bravery changed our lives forever. I now look at the world differently and appreciate everything that I do. 45 seconds. Just 45 seconds. I could have lost my life, but I didn't, and I'm insanely grateful. I appreciate the air we breathe, the ground we walk on, the people we meet, and the arenas we ride in more than I ever have, just from a 45 seconds of nearly paralyzed experience. That 45 seconds changed my life forever, and I will never take the simple things that we do in life for granted.